Hello everyone. We're in May now, and I thought it would be useful to start looking at some of the things we need to be thinking about as we head into winter. May is a preparation month. It's the last chance to be feeding your garden before we start heading into winter and things start to slow down. It's also a good time to be cutting back in preparation for winter, and while you're cutting back, it's also a good time to be taking cuttings for plants that you might want to have ready by spring. In South Africa, we have essentially two climates. We have summer rainfall areas and winter rainfall areas. The Western Cape would fall into a winter rainfall area, and the rest of the country would be summer rainfall. Here in Durban, along the east coast, we are summer rainfall, but we also have a little bit of rain in winter, which is quite fortunate for growth. But it's an important thing to know where you fall in the fall, if you excuse my pun. Here in a summer rainfall region, we're heading into a drier period. So we need to adjust our planning around that. So our gardens, maybe they don't need as much water in winter, but they still need to be watered. So we should be looking to give our gardens a good soaking at least once a month. But I'm a big believer in making gardening simple. We shouldn't have so much work to do in the garden that you don't have time to sit down and smell the roses, as the saying goes. With that in mind, I believe in planting plants that will look after themselves to a certain extent. Sometimes you might make an exception for a plant that you really want to have in your garden, and maybe that needs a little bit more pampering. But otherwise, try and choose plants that are well suited to your environment, to your region, to your garden. Our lawns are a somewhat unnatural situation. It's a monoculture, it's just one crop essentially, and you hardly ever see that in nature. So to sustain something like a lawn, you actually have to do a little bit more pampering. And as I was saying, this is the last chance to be feeding before winter, so it's a good idea to try and get a little bit of compost down on your lawn, or even a little bit of fertilizer, just to give it a boost as we head into a time where it's drier and there's a lot more shadows around, so there's less light, and so your grass will start to battle a little bit as we head into winter. And it's a perfect time for weeds to start spreading into your garden. So something to think about is to maybe start looking to cut back any branches that are creating shadows in your garden, because the shadows are where you'll start to see weeds starting to spread in first. It's also a good idea to feed now, because what you want to do is give your grass a little bit of a boost so that the grass can outcompete the weeds that are looking to try and take over the empty spaces left behind by a sparse lawn. This is also an ideal time to be doing some cutting back. Plants like these Plectranthus have overextended themselves during the good times in summer, and now when resources are low, sunlight and water in winter, they'll have to drop all the things that are costing them too much to survive. So they'll shed their leaves, they'll shed their flowers, and sometimes even whole branches will die back just to keep themselves alive. But we can help them through this period by cutting back for them. As you can see here, there's already a little bit of scale that has started to spread on this Plectranthus, and that's because the plant is a little bit stressed out at the moment. There's not enough water, not enough light, not enough food, and so when trying to decide which plants need to be cut back, look at the plants that have just finished flowering. I mean, you can see on this Plectranthus there's just one sort of lone flower left. It's been looking great all through summer, but now it's starting to battle. It's these moments that you'll start to see pests and diseases taking hold. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut back the plant so that it's got enough resources to focus on its essential services. Generally, when you're cutting back in a situation like this, you should aim to cut back about 1/2 to 2/3 of the foliage. You should always cut at a slight angle just above the node. The node is this point here. May is a good time to start thinking about mulching in preparation for winter. Mulch is any kind of organic material that you spread over the soil, and it performs a few functions. It helps keep the moisture in, it helps prevent weeds from taking hold, and it also, in frost areas, it helps keep the surface roots from freezing as the temperatures drop. So it's really an important garden task that often gets neglected. This time of year and heading into winter is also the time when there's an abundance of leaves. Why not take those leaves and spread them into your garden beds and allow those leaves to decompose naturally? You'll get all kinds of things like earthworms and beneficial insects and bacteria that will help feed your plants. This is also the opportunity for some of our plants to start to really shine as we go into winter. Things like these Techumeria, they are a beautiful backdrop in any garden. They grow quite fast and they can be quite rampant, but when they're flowering, they are spectacular. Another great plant is Bauhinia galpinii. Its common name is a camelfoot, and it's also spectacular at this time of year. Beautiful orange flowers. Also, as we head into our colder times, things like aloes really start to come into their own. So you'll start to see these beautiful orange plumes rising out of the garden beds. And one of my favorite plants is about to start flowering, the Leonotus or wild dacha. It's a spectacular plant. It has these beautiful flowers that rise up above everything. Leonotus is naturally occurring in an orange flower, but you also get a white flower, which is amazing in a garden. So I hope that helps, giving you a basic idea of what to focus on in the month of May. If you're enjoying these videos and you're getting something out of them, please hit the subscribe button below. If you have any questions, please just leave a comment in the comment section. Otherwise, happy gardening.